There's, well, representation is highly important. Like I said, this is a system which is a beast in and of itself. So if you go in there thinking you treat it like a criminal matter or you'll treat it like a civil matter, you're going to lose. Because what you need is to beat the system using science. Fight science with science, which is why a lot of our evidence was actually based on what we had tested and analyzed with the supplements. So representation matters a lot. In terms of how many people actually get it, it's unknown. I know if you're a national level athlete, your matter goes through the Sports Disputes Tribunal, and they set up what is known as a pro bono legal assistance system, which has been operational for quite a number of years. So at the very least, at that stage, at least in the Kenyan scene, you will have access to representation. Internationally, not always possible, although it is there. The only issue is you take what is available according to what the system offers you. So you might get representation, but it's not someone who is on the ground who understands how things operate here.
We spoke about this thing where Kenyans are quick to admit guilt.
Yes.
And you had an explanation why that seems to happen.
Yeah.
Why does that happen?
So a lot of these cases, in my opinion, there is this whole perception that Kenyans are doping cheats anyway, right? Like, unfortunately, that's just what it is out there. So you have Kenyan athletes who are brought into this situation of a notice of adverse analytical finding, and they're told, just admit and move on. It will be a lot easier for you, a lot faster for you. We'll give you a reduction for 1 year, take your 3 years, go away, or take your 3 years and then come back after that. But at the same time, it's not giving you an opportunity to say, actually, I'm not a doping cheat. I have evidence to prove that this thing was not intentional. So if you admit, it's just as good as saying I am a doping cheat, because you won't have that opportunity to show that, no, I didn't do this on purpose. And like I said, it's a mixed bag. You have those who are truly doping, but those are the ones who, in my opinion, are the hardest to catch. And then you have a lot of inadvertent cases.
On the same breath, in terms of also definitions, because there's something I found very fascinating about this particular situation, was that how definitions are very critical. Intentional contamination is not the kind of definition we would normally use in expressing a certain term, but
True.
One thing I noticed, the word contaminated product, you have to be very clear about what that means.
Correct.
And also in terms of intentional, because I notice now the vocabulary that is used when it comes to such situations is slightly different.
Yes, like I said, the technicalities are what are going to be looked at. So if you have people who are just looking at things as though it's just English from Oxford Dictionary, you're going to really, really fail. The technicalities within anti-doping have to be used within the context that is anti-doping. So contaminated product, what is it according to the WADA code? What is intention according to the WADA code? There's something also called indirect intention, whereby, yes, you might have been careful, but because of the way you are acting, that's what they were saying. Yeah. But we proved otherwise, that no, he didn't have direct intention, and he also didn't have indirect intention, because his conduct proved that he did everything he could to prevent prohibited substances from entering his body.
Okay.